Hi, welcome back to Repairing Lawnmowers for Profit. In this video I'm going to go and pick up this IKRA or IKRA petrol lawnmower. I've never heard of this brand before. Looking on eBay, these go brand new between £250 and about £500. I've no idea why I've never heard of them. I've won one of these now, as you can see, for £40. He was asking £50. I'm going to go and pick it up. I'm going to give him £40 cash for that. See what this lawnmower is all about. If you've got any idea what it is and you've heard of this brand, leave me a comment in the comment section. I'm super excited. Really nice looking lawnmower, self-drive on it. It's got the box with it and everything, so this could be a real good profit for me. Let's go and pick this up. We'll get started right away. Right, there's a little bit of fuel left in this. And I got this off somebody. Somebody gave me it with a lawnmower. I said they just filled it up and I've used it a lot, but I think I've had about £7 or £8 worth of free fuel out of this. Let's just put a bit in there. Get rid of all that. And that's gone now. Super exciting. I get really excited with stuff like this. I don't know why. But you can't help the way you're built, can you? It's just what it is, isn't it? So I've got some fuel in there, and this is when anything could happen here. Let's have a quick look under here and just make sure there's a blade on this. I did have a quick look. I'll just turn it this other way so it's carb side up. There's a governor linkage on here. Well, don't seem to move about much. I don't know anything about these mowers. Looks like brand new. Underneath looks like absolutely brand new. So what have we got on here? We've got a throttle. Not sure if there's a choke that way. Anyway, is there a primer? We've got a primer. Let's give that a load of goes. Try and get some fuel through here. I'm not sure if this throttle should be down or up, but let's just pull it over and see if anything happens. Very little compression there. Not much pulling over anything there. I'm hoping it's not a duff this, because it's a nice looking mower. There's absolutely nothing. Kind of just feels like I'm pulling over the pull cord. There's no resistance at all there. Nothing. I wonder if this actual recoil here is actually turning the engine over, because it feels a bit too easy to pull over. It could be that the valves just need setting. There's nothing there at all. Let's try that on the other way. Very odd. I'm just hoping there's nothing major in this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to pull this out of here, this actual spark plug, and I'm just going to put a screwdriver down this actual hole here and make sure this piston is going up and down. So I've just encountered the world's smallest spark plug. And it is worrying me quite a lot actually that this is taking, it's quite easy to pull over. It's not particularly pleasing at first. It could be a number of things. It could be that the piston's just snapped and it's total right off. It could be that the actual recoil isn't catching the engine. It could be because there's just not enough compression because these valves won't set in. Look at this. This is, I don't think this has ever been run. If you look at the plug here, it smells of petrol. I don't think this has hardly ever been used. There's no grass stuck to the underside of this deck whatsoever. It's almost feels like it could be a shop return or something like that. I've got a pen there. I'm just going to have to clamp this handle at the top so I can try and pull over the pull cord just to see if the piston's going up and down. So I've clamped that at the top. I don't like doing that. I don't ever do that. The only reason I'm doing that is because the spark plug's out, so obviously it can't start. And I want to put this in here and see if the piston is going up and down. And I don't think it is. I think this could be dead. I think this lawnmower could be a complete write-off, which is a shame. I don't feel the piston going up and down at all, so it could be snapped, or it could be that the actual recoil isn't turning the engine. So let's take this cover off and let's hope for the best. Worst case scenario is I'll just have to sell this on. I'll take all the bits off it and sell it to spares, which is why you don't want to pay too much for a mower. I'm not giving up on this just yet, so I'd be surprised if this had a broken piston. It looks so new. It looks alright underneath. Just see if we can get this off. Oh, there's a couple more in there. One more in there. I'm just hoping it's something simple like the recoil in actually catching the engine. So there's just no signs of life. I've just looking there, I don't see the piston moving up and down at all. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take this overhead valve cover off. I'll just whip that off there and just see if these valves are actually going up and down. So let's just quickly unbolt this overhead valve cover and let's take a look in here. It could be that it's ended up there because nobody can get it going. I didn't realise on Facebook Marketplace you can actually see comments, and a lot of people had commented on the post with different things to try and get this running. But I don't think they're in the business of trying to get things running. I think they're in the business of just trying to get rid of things. So we've got that there. I can now see these valves. And we have the valves that move up and down. I'll show you exactly what I mean. You see these valves here? These all move up and down. So I pull on this cord here. You see these? Nothing looks particularly bad in there. Nothing feels particularly slack. And I would say they're all moving as they should. The next question I've got for myself really is, if the piston was broken and it wasn't rotating, would those valves still go up and down? So I'm a little bit stumped to start with this one, but I've got valves that go up and down. I've got a complete lawnmower, but I've got no sign of any spark at all. So let's just test this mower for spark. So before I throw myself too far into this and start stripping it down and believing it's totally broken inside, I've just tested a few plugs, and this plug, which is really thin on the thread, it's a real strange style of plug. I don't get any spark with at all when I pull this over. Or very little. I get a tiny amount. When I replace it with a normal plug, pull this over, I get a good amount of spark. It's just such a small threaded spark plug this. Instead how thin this is, but I'm getting very little spark, if any. Tiny little bit between this. I've tried bending this in and out just to see if I can help it a bit. It's really poor spark so far. So I've just been pretty much everywhere I can think of looking for a spark plug for that, and I cannot find one in my garage anywhere that size. I don't remember having one, if I'm honest. I have a few I thought might fit, and I thought I'd cracked it when I found my leaf blower and I took the spark plug out of that, but that don't fit either. So I'm not a bit disappointed, I'm really disappointed, because I wanted to get a plug in this, and if I get good spark, I know I've got fuel so I can smell it going to the plug. I know it does spark, so I know the ignition coil works as well. The only thing that really is worrying me is the piston, but I don't know if I'd feel it from there anyway. So I really desperately want a spark plug, but for now, rain stop play if you like. And I've bought this, and on the ticket at the back it says 2014 on, and I just wonder if this has like come out of the factory pretty much, hardly ever done any work because there's no grass on the bottom of it, and it's just done the rounds of spares and repair loads of different times. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump all the petrol out of it and I'm going to dump the oil out of it. I just had a quick look at the oil. Mick from Mick's Mower said look for like little silvering in the actual oil, see if you can see anything. So I've dumped a load of that into a tub and had a good look, and I can't see too much in it. So I'm going to dump the oil out, I'm going to dump the fuel out, all the petrol out, and I'm going to unbolt this from this actual deck. I might just take this apart from the bottom and see if we can see exactly what's happened with the con rod. Probably can't fix it, but at least I can take it apart and we can just have a look. Who knows, it might even be loose, maybe we can bolt it back together. I'm clutching at straws a bit there, but let's have a look and see what we can do with this IKRA lawnmower. So I'm a bit gutted, I can't lie, I can't pretend I'm not. I'm a bit gutted about this because I thought this was going to be a great buy. I was hoping I could just kind of put some fuel in it and maybe replace the plug and get this running and maybe make a real good sale, because I've done a couple of mowers I've not made a lot of profit on recently just to do the videos for everybody, so I was hoping I'd kind of get a good profit out of this one. So I'm just going to suck any old fuel out of here so I can tip this up a little bit easier. Don't really like doing this inside, but it's dark out now, it's cold as well, so let's just get as much out of that as I can. I'm going to do the same thing at the other side with the oil as well, and I'm going to crack the bolt on the bottom of the car and drain any remaining fuel out from there as well. So I don't want this going all over in the garage. I'll just try and take all this oil out of here as well. So So I've just got this on the bench. It's quite heavy this as well. I'm going to get a 10mm spanner. I'm going to guess it at 10 anyway. I always get wrong one, don't you? I've just put this little box under here and I'm just going to crack this bottom bolt here on this carb and just drain anything out of here. So I'm going to get this tipped up. There we go. I'm going to get as much fuel out of this as I can. It's not all going everywhere when I try and tip this over on the bench. I don't normally go to this much trouble, but it's kind of irritated me that much. I want to know exactly what's happened in there, so I'm going to leave that to drain out just for a minute or so till everything's out of there. I just took this whole bottom of this bowl off, let it drain out. I'm glad I did. There's quite a lot in there actually, even though I'd taken it out with the extractor. There's still quite a lot in this fuel line and at the bottom of the tank, so we'll get all that out there. I'd rather it come out into there than when I tip this up to try and get this engine off in a minute, so I'm quite glad that we did that. I've disconnected this spark plug. I've actually taken this out so I can get under here, and you can probably see it turns quite easily really. It's not exactly feeling like it should feel, but I'm not sure if I have to take all this self-drive cover off. I just want to get the engine off. There's a bolt here, there's two there, there's one there. I don't know if there's one there, but I might just have to take off the actual blade, take off this self-drive cover here. I think what we'll do is unbolt all that and I can just see if I need to access any more of these. We'll see if we can get this engine off and put this on this bench and start stripping this down. Right, I'm going to get a few tools out and get this impact driver out. So excuse me marigolds, I'm going out tonight. I played a brass band in York called the Shepherd Group Brass Band. I've got a rehearsal in about an hour's time, so I don't want to go out and stink of petrol, so I'm just trying to do a bit to avoid that, so don't laugh at me, I'm not my wife's. Well, that's sexist actually, you can't say that nowadays, can you? You have to be a modern man, don't you? So I'm going to use my bigger Clark impact for this. I've got an actual impact socket for this as well. Both these drills are listed in the description of the video as well. So I often get asked about these things, so let's just see if this one can take that off. As you can see, there's no lack of power in that. The only problem with that one is it doesn't have variable torque, but I only ever use it for something that's really stuck. This Ryobi one's been great. See if we can get that blade off as well. Blade adapter off, should I say. We'll take that off, put them to one side. Imagine trying to do that without the correct tools. So I'm just looking in there as well. I'm just looking at the keyway. And I don't see a keyway in there unless it's on the actual blade adapter. I don't actually see a keyway at that side. Oh, it's at the back. That's why I've just been looking. It's at the other side because there's a cutout on both sides here. The keyway is there. It's stuck into this shaft, so that's okay. I'm slightly worried about that then. So I'll take that off and out of the way. I can probably just get in here and take off these actual bolts under here. I'm just going to give these all a little bit of a spray up while I'm here talking to you. I'm going to be real careful taking these off as well. I don't want to do these with an impact just in case I snap anything off. Right, I've just unhooked a couple of cables. Bear with me, I realise this is the most boring picture of the back of my back. But I've got this whole thing off. I'll move this out of the way. It's still really heavy. I hope you can see now, I've actually got this engine off here. Let's just remove this basic parts. What I wanted to do is I wanted to get under here, actually unbolt the bottom of this so we can have a look inside and just see what's gone wrong. As I turn this over, you can actually hear things rattling about. Definitely something loose in there, so we're going to open the bottom of this up. We're going to take this off. If I can get this off this crankshaft here, this actual drive pulley here, and to take that off, there's a couple of grub screws there. There's a keyway, so I might have to pull that off. I'm going to have to get this keyway out of here. I'm going to undo all these 6 bolts in the bottom of here. You can see here. I'm going to try and take the bottom of this off. We'll have a look inside here. Just back these off a little bit. This reminds me of years ago. These grub screws. I used to work on a numbering machine when I was an apprentice in this tiny little room. It used to be deafening. I used to set the numbering blocks using these grub screws. It was a nightmare. It was totally awful. So let's get that. And that somehow has to come over the top of here. You see in here as well. If I just zoom in a bit so you can have a real good look at what I'm doing. There's actually this keyway here. I'm going to have to try and get this keyway out of here. I think if I hook that out from underneath, that might be the best way to do it. I need to just make sure that this is even as well. Make sure it's the same all the way along. So there's nothing wrong with the actual key. That's nice and square. Alright, so I've just tapped this up. I had like a sponge under it in a normal hammer, so I've just tapped this up. Just going to look in here, make sure nothing's going to fall out. Hopefully this will come off. There's actually a little keyway in here as well. I can have a look inside there. You can see everything we've got in there. Just look at this oil here. And what I'm looking for is something inside that's broken. Now what I'm hoping is it hasn't broken, it's just actually come apart, but as you can see here, unfortunately, you can see how it's snapped across here. It's a real mess, and this actual conrod has actually snapped, which is why the piston won't go backwards and forwards. There's a bolt here, there's all sorts we're uncovering. So this lawnmower is a complete and utter write-off for me. I'm certainly not going to start getting a conrod, I don't think, and putting it on. I don't even think I'll find one in the UK. There's parts of this kind of everywhere. Here's another bit. You can see where the whole thing's snapped. And I'll just give you a real good look inside here as well. There's even a few more bits. I can actually see the back where the piston should join. And I can actually see the connecting rod where it goes in. And it actually goes down into the piston as well. That's still kind of connected. And there's loads of bits in here that shouldn't be here. So this mower, at least I know it's a complete write-off. So I've bought a duffer today, which is annoying because it's a long time since I've come a cropper and bought a really broken lawnmower. But it happens to everybody, and I wanted to show you the reasons why. This pulled over in the shop, don't forget, but it pulled over far too easily. I was hoping it'd be a simple fix, and it's not. So we can see now all these parts here, and why even a new spark plug really ain't going to save the day with this one. So this is a change of events. I don't normally have this much bad luck, but this lawnmower owes me £40. So I'm going to do my best to get £40 back for this lawnmower. I'm sure in parts I can get this back. The only problem with this mower is I've never heard of it before, and they appear to be made in Germany here, so I might have to even ship some of these parts abroad. So I'll just try and focus on that for you. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do, but I've got a lot of good bits. I've got the deck, I've got this guard. The engine could go in the bin as far as I'm concerned, but I've got the overhead valve cover, the carb, the linkages, the air filter box, the petrol tank, the recoil, the ignition coils. I'm going to strip this down as far as I can, bin any parts I don't think I can sell, and I'm going to list all of these on eBay, and I'm going to make £40 back. It might take me a few months to do it, but I will get my money back on it. I don't think I've ever not made a profit on a lawnmower, at least broken even. So it's a learning curve, isn't it? I've fallen for one today, but somebody who's selling this can't obviously know that this has got a broken piston inside it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It's from a house clearance place, and it's up to me to have a look at that before I buy it. But there's loads and loads of good bits on this, and at least I'm not wasting my time trying to put spark plugs in it and pull it over in the garden. I had a good feeling that this was broken, and thanks to my friends Mick at Mix Mowers and Martin at Retro Restore. Both of their channels I'll list in this video in the description, by the way. Should be subscribed to them, they're brilliant. They've been really helpful with me, and they both sort of concurred with me, if you like, that this piston was defunct. So I've just turned this sideways on here, and I've just taken a few more parts out just so I can show you exactly what's happened. You can probably just see in there, you can just see where that's actually snapped across here. The whole thing's completely snapped. Unfortunately in here there's in with all the oil, there's loads of like little silver bits and all sorts of springs and contraptions falling out, and it's not something I want to get back into rebuilding all that. It's not worth my time doing that and trying to buy a rod. I looked for some parts for this. They seem to be like Italian or German, but I thought I'd just show you inside these engines. Well, I've got my camera out. As you can see here is the back of these actual valves here. You You can see here, this is where they go in and out from. They go right through here. You can obviously set them from the other side here, so you can see right in here and see everything that's going on. I thought it was just interesting to show you. See this governor here? Remember when I said when I first picked it up the governor didn't move very much? I'm not sure if there's a problem with that. You can see how this connects inside here. I don't often get a chance to show you that. So you can see this is like the governor adjustment here. And the reason I have a hole in my bench here is because I'm going to strip this down for parts. If I tip this over, I can actually drop this actual crankshaft down the hole and it sits nice and level on the bench. So I'm going to strip this for parts. I don't know what to say really. It's not very often I get a lawnmower and I can't repair it. And I just don't want to get into the parts situation, trying to hunt down parts for something like this, because I've never even heard of it. But it's such a shame, because it's such a nice lawnmower. I'm going to strip all the bits off that, as I've said. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this whole thing as it is, with the handle and the deck and the actual self-drive cover there, and the belt and the blade and everything, and hopefully somebody's got an engine that can drop into this. I'm going to ask about £35 for this, and I paid £40 for the mower. And if I can get £20 for it, that's half my money back. I'm going to try and get some spares off this as well. So we'll do a bit of filming. I'll show you how to strip this down for spares, which bits I'm going to keep and which bits I'm going to disregard. So I'm going to do a bit of a time lapse over the next video section. I'm just going to take off the air filter. I might take off some of these linkages, no, probably the spring. I'm going to take the overhead valve cover off, the recoil off, all the shroud. I'm going to take this actual petrol tank thing off as well. This can all stay on. I'm going to take the exhaust off and the exhaust guard, the engine oil dipstick. I'm going to take the ignition coil off as well, and all those bits, as well as the blade and the air filter box and the actual grass box and the main body of this mower. I'm going to sell on eBay. And seeing as I've got the tools, I'm going to take this actual flywheel off as well. Someone might want that, and you can see this ignition coil here. Obviously this is all in like nearly new condition, so you see how good condition that's in. I'm going to strip all that off as well. Just want to quickly show you the keyway in the top of this as well. And see, it's perfect as well. The one at the bottom was as well. So the blade was perfect as well. So they could have swapped that over, of course, for me to buy it. But both these keyways, the one actually on the blade and the one actually at the top of this crankshaft, are all right. Yet this conrod's still snapped, which is all a bit weird. So I've got all these bits on the bench. It's a bit like Bully's prize bob. I'm just going to pull this piston. I've just got hold of this now. I'm going to pull this out of here. Hopefully I can get it right out. You can see there, I've got this whole part right out. And it's such a shame that that's just snapped off there. You can see what a problem that is as well. These piston rings have all popped off as well. So it's obviously come to a bit of a rubbish end, doesn't it? And what a shame that one part fails and this whole Lamborghini won't start. You can see just how split all that is in there, and it's come to an unhappy end as this lawnmower. So I'll just quickly go through all the bits of salvage. I'm going to scrap this actual main block here and this whole piston that's snapped, but I've got this actual engine cover and all this around here. I've got a petrol tank. It is like bullish prize for it. I've got this arm, this control arm here, the blade boss, the air filter, the exhaust guard, the whole cab setup, all the gaskets, the heat deflector. I've got the ignition coil here and the wire it attaches to on this other control arm, recoil cover, air filter. I've got the actual flywheel off as well, the flywheel key, and I've got this top bolt as well. I've got this self-drive guard as well, and I've got this one here, which is the actual self-drive belt, and this actual collar here, which is great. And of course I've got this deck as well, so I'm going to list this deck on here like this. I'm just going to list all this on Facebook Marketplace with the actual grass box on the bottom, and I'm hoping someone's going to just drop another engine in here, maybe a good Honda in it or a big Briggs one. Someone might just want that if they just want a really good solid deck. And it's got all the cables with it, they're all in good condition, so you could probably swap these over and get them the right length for a different actual engine to put on as well. It's not something I want to do. I'm going to sell all these bits and I'm going to attempt to make £40 back. The best thing about eBay is you can list all this. It might take a while, but it just goes around forever, you know, until somebody buys them. It just relists them, and at some point somebody will want these. I'm going to put these at a reasonably high price because I can't find any second-hand spares for these lawnmowers. In fact, I can find two. I found a petrol tank and some wheels, some of these wheels, and that's all I found. So if anybody's got one of these and they're over in Britain and they're looking for spares and they don't want to pay international postage, which looks like it's about £18 from Italy, I might get some sales on this. I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping, you know, over the next few months or even years, at some point I will get my money back on this lawnmower. I'm not really complaining because I've made so much profit over the years on these other little mowers as well. One tip for selling spares on eBay as well is actually take a photograph. I've actually got one of this complete so people can see if it's the same mower they've got, and make sure you get a really good photograph and add it to all your listings on eBay with this actual service ticket on as well, so everybody can see if it's exactly the same lawnmower they've got. They'll know if the part will fit rather than guessing. And I'm also going to get the actual width of this as well, so I know exactly what it is. It says 455 there, so 46 centimetres is pretty near enough to list it at that. So I'm going to check that. I'm not sure it's a bit wider than that. I will measure the bottom of that across. I'll measure the blade, but make sure you take an actual photo of the whole lawnmower. Make sure you take a photo of this service ticket so anybody who's got something similar can make sure they're going to get the right part. You've got much more chance of selling spare parts doing that. And I'm going to get photographing all this now, and I'm going to list all this on eBay. So I'll be a bit honest here. I could have easily just not even mentioned this lawnmower. I could have just scrapped this and put the bits on eBay and not mentioned it, but that's not what this channel's all about. This is about repairing things for profit. It doesn't work every time, but I'm sure I'll make most of my money back on that, selling these spares at some point, if not selling the deck. So I'm going to go and list all these on eBay right now. It'll probably take me about an hour to do that and photograph it all, which is a real pain. I'm going to stick this actual deck and this actual grass box on Facebook and see if somebody wants that. And then, if I'm honest, I'm probably just going to sit down and have a really big cry. So this is one of those videos I was super excited at the beginning and I'm really disappointed now, but it's an honest video, and if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment down below. Thanks very much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time.